Hello and welcome. Jim Marshall, the New Bedford Cable Network. I am with Nicole Merusi. She's the Vice President of Strategic Advancement for the Zeiterion Performing Arts Center, and we are here, as promised.
As promised.
For people who don't remember, back in February we came and Nicole gave us a tour of the progress of the Z for the renovations, and she said, we'll be back. So here we are in late summer. Anticipation right now is pretty high for the whole project.
Yeah, it's high for us as well.
They want to see things in there.
Yep.
And I think the public at large is pretty excited about this right now, no doubt.
Absolutely, yeah. We're ready to get to the finish line for the project, which for us in the organization is really the starting line for the new Z.
So I figured we'd start just like we did last time, 6 months ago. We're in the lobby, the main lobby, as you said. And as you were excited as you walked in, I mean, there's framing right now.
Yes.
There's things that are going. Tell us a little bit about now, I mean, we know that this is the lobby, but again, explain to folks what we're seeing, what the difference is from 6 months ago.
The difference in this space, relatively similar, but what we've done here is we've created some new archways and framed those out, which will kind of change the flow for patrons as they walk in. Largely, you know, as we said 6 months ago, this historic lobby is going to look very similar to what it did in 1923. But, you know, some new archways in here that will allow you to move around the building in different ways. You'll be able to move into a box office lobby or from the box office lobby as you enter into the building. There'll be a merchandise booth right here in between these two openings. There'll be a counter there, so we'll be able to have Zeiterion merchandise as well as any of the touring acts will be able to sell their merchandise. The biggest change, I think, from 6 months ago, we alluded to the fact that there was going to be an elevator here, and the elevator is actually installed. The entire structure, the shaft has been built, completed, and the cart is
And it goes up 3 floors, well, from the basement
Four.
up to, right. You talked about flow. Why is it so important, and how do you emphasize the architecture of that?
Yeah, so there are just over 1,200 seats in that theater, and this building or this theater was built so that this was the only lobby that moved people in and out. And then the only amenities that we were able to offer were maybe 6 restroom stalls for women. You know, there were a lot of challenges, and a lot of times when we had to hold the doors before a show opened, people would be, you know, this room would be filled, and then people would be lined up around the block waiting to get into the building. So what we looked at was an opportunity to make this more of an experience and move people around in different ways. And now, when you walk into this building, you'll be able to, you know, as soon as you cross through those doors, whether it be through the box office lobby or this lobby, or even the upper lobby, you're in. And you get to have an entire experience here. It's not just about coming in, rushing to your seat, sitting down, and then leaving. It's about moving through the building, meeting your friends, having a drink before the show, socializing a little bit, and having that comfort of you know, moving around in a way. And then we're doubling the size of the restrooms, bringing the men's room upstairs. So really just improving flow and the patron experience when you come in for a performance.
And part of the help too is you got the old travel agency, you took that.
Right.
And that helps expand what you're talking about.
Exactly.
So now we're in what is known as the upper lobby. This is sort of the space that you were talking about a moment ago. And this is totally different because it was wide open when we were here in February. Now you've got partitions and some walls actually.
Yeah, you're starting to see the kind of bar area take shape. The bar or concessions bar will be back there. And then there'll be some banquettes as well as some socializing area over here. And then just behind you will be a grand staircase that will head up to the 2nd floor. So that'll connect and then kind of turn with a landing heading up to the 2nd floor lounge, which will be another lounge/lobby that'll be able to host additional patrons before a performance. We'll probably use that as a donor's lounge or a sponsor lounge
VIP
kind of thing.
Yeah. Interesting. as we look across here, the room, you see plywood.
Yes.
But then you see right next to us what's going to be instead of the plywood. Those are pretty big windows.
Yes, they're really big storefront windows that will really open up this building for the corner of Purchase and Spring Street. So whereas we previously had these kind of dense, half-blocked aluminum windows, this will really open up from floor to ceiling and allow the passerby to really look into the building and have a sense of what's happening in here.
The lighting is going to be phenomenal.
It's going to
in
be
here.
amazing, yeah. We want to make sure that from the street and even maybe down from Union Street that you can look down and see that there's something happening down here,
Right.
and there's a reason to walk in this direction. And so the large windows, the marquee that will go outside are going to do a lot of that work for us.
This is kind of interesting because this wasn't here when we were doing this 6 months ago, but
Right.
you talked about the ticket booth. So a lot of people are going to come here. This is the first thing they're going to see if they don't have tickets or
Right.
will call or what have you. This is the new ticket booth.
That's right.
And it's huge compared to like what we were saying off camera. It used to be the two small windows
Right.
that you'd have to crowd up to get. This is really huge.
Yes, it's very spacious. It'll be a really nice buying experience. We've brought it up closer to the street. There'll be its own entrance here through these doors with a small marquee over it denoting that it is the box office entrance. And then we have 3 windows for staff to be able to be here and service our patrons. And then they'll be able to kind of then flow through this and into the theater
Again,
and
flow.
into the lobby.
Yeah.
Right. And this is a really good example of making use of dead space. These were 2 entryways. One went to a stairwell upstairs and one went to a very small service elevator up to the 2nd and 3rd floor that nobody ever really saw. It was mostly used by staff. So now to be able to utilize this space in this way and kind of improve the experience, the buying experience. This is also an area that will be open even if the theater isn't, right? So if our box office is
Right.
open and selling tickets, people can come in person and have that buying experience in person, which sometimes, a lot of people still prefer over online. And
They like to see what they're getting.
They do,
Yeah.
and you can have that connection, which is something that's really important to us.
Tell me, why are you so excited about the women's room?
First and foremost, because it doubles the size of the women's restroom. We used to have only 6 stalls to serve sometimes 1,200 women, right? We have had entire performances, which are 90% female, depending on the night. So those lines used to go all the way down the theater along the wall. And so, the more people stand in line, the less they get to enjoy the night and the performance. So the fact that we'll be able to move more people through this room with increased stalls is so exciting.
So we're in the basement, and this is 180 degrees different than when we came down here. There was a tractor here, there was just dirt,
Yes.
and the stairs that we came down didn't even exist at that time.
That's right.
This is a pretty impressive space.
Yeah, so this will be the speakeasy, which we're
Right.
very excited about. There'll be a dedicated bar in this room, as well as a removable platform, so we'll be able to have performances in here. Largely, we'll use it as a performance space. The beauty of this space is it is allowed to be autonomous from what is happening in the theater. So the way that you can enter this space, you can close it off from what's happening upstairs. So we could theoretically have 2 performances happening
Right.
in one night.
The floor is great, and the ceiling looks fantastic too. I mean, and it doesn't look like a basement. It does look like its own little venue.
This area here will be seating, mostly cabaret style seating we're picturing, but there may be other configurations, theater style. It could be all open for dancing, depending on the performance or the activity. This area in the back where we have that little alcove, that's about where the stage will go when there is an elevation in here to be used. We'll have some great almost neon-like lighting that will honor the Z in the backdrop there. And then here in this back corner is where the bar will go. where you'll be able to get up and get your drinks and while you're enjoying the show. And then back here we have a dry bar, or a back bar, so to speak. So another place for people to sort of stand and enjoy a performance.
So we've made our way up to the second floor. This is the lounge area that you were talking about downstairs. Wow, talk about a difference. Well lit.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it's a very big space too.
A little bigger than the footprint of the speakeasy, but probably just about 100 people can fit up here, maybe, yeah, hovering around that. And then this is where that stairwell we were talking about downstairs connects. So this is where that'll, where patrons will come up from upstairs, from downstairs and enter into this room. Or they can always come up the elevator, as we mentioned, another accessible opportunity. We really see this as another space that we can use as a community building, gathering space for people to come together. It could be a meeting space, a lecture series, small films, things like that. There's a lot of opportunities, small performances as well in here.
I can't get over the windows and just the lighting. I mean, it's a beautiful view when you look outside, and it is really, really nice up here.
Yeah, this room is going to be really special when it's done. It already feels really special. We have the bar you can see starting to be built behind us. These windows that you're seeing, all of this light pouring in, these are the historic replicas of the original windows that would have been here in 1923. Absolutely beautiful. And the interesting piece about these windows is they actually span 2 floors. So if you kind of looked up, you would see that this is the bottom half of the window, and then the top half of the window we'll see when we head up to the 3rd floor.
And we don't need to go through them, but I know on our way up that we went through a couple of offices. As you had said, the Z's office space is really on the 2nd floor. A couple on this side and more offices on the other side to the south of us.
Correct. So what we've done, we've put our offices on 2 floors actually. So we've stacked all of the programming space on this side of the building, and then on the other we'll have 2 floors of office space for our administration of the Zeiterion organization, as well as New Bedford Festival Theater, who is a resident company here, so they'll have some offices there as well.
We're on the 3rd floor. We've made our way up here. More, we've looked at a little bit of office space, but the one thing that we wanted to emphasize is what you were talking about on the 2nd floor.
Right. The
windows, as you said downstairs, they're 1 window.
Right.
And again, I can't believe the lighting when you're talking about this space right now. The 2nd and 3rd floor, unbelievable lighting.
Yeah, a lot of natural light pouring in, and just stunning architecture on these windows, the way that they connect from the 2nd floor up to the 3rd floor, and now on the 3rd floor really highlighting this kind of top, I guess, mullion transom piece. It's absolutely beautiful and really opens up the building again.
Again, on the 3rd floor here, and this is the place, the space that you were talking about below. This is the 3rd floor space, the rehearsal studio, I think you mentioned it as.
Yeah, rehearsal movement studio.
A big space.
It is a big space.
And another place for people to do things. Tell us a little bit about this space.
Yeah, so, you know, I am going to sound like a broken record because I'm going to say that this room is one of the rooms I'm most excited about, but I think I've said that about every space, every new space in this building.
No, I think the ladies' room still takes the cake right now. There's no question about that.
That's true, that's true.
This is on the next level down.
It is. This is really exciting what's happening here on the 3rd floor. So this room that we're in right now will be sort of what we're calling a movement studio, but it will feel like a dance studio. We'll have a semi-sprung floor, which gives a little cushion, which dancers use. The walls will be fully mirrored on 2 walls with ballet bars. There will be curtains to close those if we don't need to use the mirrors for a performance. And you can actually start to see the cubbies behind us being built for people to come in and store their stuff, students to come in and store their stuff, or parents to sort of sit and watch. So this will be a hub for our creative classroom, the classes that we present here at the Zeiterion. We also see that the resident companies, New Bedford Festival Theater, potentially will be using the space quite a bit for preparing for their performances on the stage, and classes. This is the first time in our organization's history where we will have dedicated space to be able to provide those programs to the city and to this community.
So the one thing that you talked about 6 months ago, which you're emphasizing here, and it kind of shows it, is it's the Z that's sort of coordinating the class space, the education piece of the mission of the Z now. Not that it wasn't there before, but now you've got the space to do it.
Right. Yeah. We've always had a really strong relationship with the public schools in the area and in the region, and that brings students from around the region and all of the school children in New Bedford into the theater to see live performance. And a lot of times it's the first time, you know, a child has seen a live performance on a stage in a theater like this. But this is, you know, another way that we get to serve the community through performing arts education and giving people that opportunity to really have an experience with the arts beyond sitting in a seat and watching the performance, which is an important piece of experiencing the arts, right? But now we get to touch it and feel it and move through it and experience it.
So this is the other space that you just mentioned, the classroom space that coincides with the rehearsal studio.
Yeah, so more traditional learning style in here. Furniture will be a little bit more like a classroom, maybe a mix of things. But yeah, so this is a smaller space. We'll be able to kind of, more like a lecture type learning, or maybe an art class could probably happen in here as well. Lots of different opportunities to be able to teach classes in the arts in general in this space.
As we take the tour of the third floor here, though, you wanted to mention this space, the volunteer space. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in order to make this theater sing and really come to life on a show night, the people that you first see walking through the door are often our volunteer ushers. That is an all-volunteer crew that seat you and welcome you into the building, and they're really the heart and soul of the Zeiterion. They're kind of the lifeblood of
some of them people
have
been here for years.
They have. I think some people, we have a couple ushers who've been volunteering here for 40 years, almost all the years that the Zeiterion has been open. So that is truly remarkable. We are doing some active recruiting right now to expand our usher corps. We know that when we reopen, we are going to need significantly more ushers to operate this significantly larger
more
building.
spaces,
Yeah, and that usher the recruitment is going really, really well. A lot of people are responding. So many people are coming out to the events and wanting to know more about what it means to be a volunteer here. And so because they are such important pieces, people to the work that we do, they need a space to turn to during a performance or come take their break. And so that's what this room will be. There'll be some nice furniture in here. They'll be able to have lockers and be able to put their stuff away. There'll also be a live feed in this room from what's happening in the theater. So they'll be able to pay attention to what's happening in the performance and take their cues and then kind of walk right out. And it was designed to be right off the elevator, right?
So that elevator, you can see the elevator from the hallway here,
Right, so it brings them right down back to the lobby and into the theater where they do their work.
So this was the shot that I loved last time. We were in the lighting, quote, sound room / sound room. And the view was spectacular because I'd never been up here and most people haven't been up here. It's a great shot, but you can't see anything right now. The scaffolding is out there. Tell us a little bit about what is going on right now, because that shot that we had before, that's not there.
Right. Yeah. So the entire theater is filled with scaffolding, top to bottom, left to right. And this, what they call, I guess, a dance floor is what they refer to this platform here. And this is helping our historic painters and plasterers do all of the restorative paint work and finish work on the ceiling. And then I think they're also making their way down the walls inside as well. You
emphasized in February that the painting was going to be, you were trying to really recreate what it was like in 1923.
That's right.
That was an emphasis that you put on, that hoping that you could we could do that.
Yes, that's right. We had a historic paint survey done back in 2020 where we got a better understanding of what the original paint scheme was.
The 1982 restoration got really close.
Yep.
But the colors were a little cooler than what the original colors were, and by that I mean like more grays.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we've done now is really brought it back to the original 1923 color scheme. The paint colors are absolutely stunning. It is so warm and like rich in this room now. The gold paint is beyond my expectations.
I can't imagine how meticulous this work must be. I mean, this takes time and
It does.
and patience.
It's impressive, and when you look at the tools that these restorationists use to create the different plaster molds, I mean, we're talking small little pieces, little rosettes being created. And put back that, from down on the ceiling, down on the floor, you don't see in such detail, but up close, it's really special.
So I was mentioning earlier that we have a lot of intricate plaster work, and some of these rosettes up here are an example of that. These little rosettes were kind of hand cleaned up and created. A little mold was created for these and then replaced here now in their original glory.
And I mean, we're on the scaffolding, so we're on basically at the roof of the Z right now, the ceiling of the Z, I should say. A view that most people will never get. But again, the hand work that's being done with this type of stuff is unbelievable. And I would imagine this is so time consuming.
Very, very, yeah. So we've had two teams up here. We have the plaster team and the paint team. Neither are very large groups. They're pretty small, intricate, pretty small teams that kind of take things methodically, piece by piece. And they've been moving slowly around, and they'll clean up the muses and fix the plaster, and then put it all back together again. So it's just really remarkable, and you're right, this is a view nobody will ever get again.
It's beautiful too. I mean, the work is absolutely beautiful.
The paint is beautiful. The craftsmanship and the artistry up here is really something special. We couldn't be happier with the team that has been assembled.
You had an oh wow moment just a second ago when you saw this. What piqued your oh wow moment here?
This is the first time that I've seen this gold dome completely repainted and just brought to life like this.
It really pops.
It is stunning. It absolutely sparkles up here, and this is where we added some special treatment and a little bit of gold leaf up here. But I am just in awe of how gorgeous this is, and thinking about when we're all back in this theater and the chandelier, the original chandelier from 1923 is hanging here, and how much this is going to be sparkle is really, it's just going to be special. So we're really excited about this new addition. This is a new lighting position for the theater. So there will be a catwalk created above the ceiling. The ceiling of the Zeiterion that we all see is actually a suspended ceiling. So there'll be a steel catwalk that is created and then brought up over here, where our lighting crew will be able to hang most of the fixed lighting positions, the theatrical lighting, for what's happening on the stage.
And we're right close to the stage right now. I mean, I know we have the tarp over here, if you will, but we're right there. It's unbelievable.
So this will really improve our tech crew's ability and our sound crew's ability to do their work and create the magic of the theater. It used to be that we had two lighting positions on the corner, and the access to them and the ability to hang those lights was a lot trickier. So having a fully functional catwalk here, where they're in full standing mode and up there hanging lights, will be really a remarkable change.
We're up close and personal with the ceiling mural. You've got the top of the proscenium with the beautifully repainted architectural and original Z. for the Zeitz brothers who built the building. So yeah, this is really a special view on the theater that you might not ever get again.
Just below this plywood that is the platform for the orchestra pit lift. This will have several stops. There is some storage underneath. The main section will be when the orchestra is in session, and will be down here. It will come up to the main floor and have about 25 to 30 extra seats. And then it'll rise up to the stage height, where it will create a stage extension. And that stage extension can be used for many things, but most importantly, it is used for the New Bedford Symphony Orchestra, who likes to build a stage extension and bring their string section out in front of the proscenium to improve the acoustics.
This is a big wow factor right here.
It is.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah, this is another quote-unquote game changer for us. The other thing that is really wonderful about this is that it creates a space for us to house our Mighty Wurlitzer organ. The Mighty Wurlitzer organ that we have here at the Zeiterion is original from 1923.
Yeah, we did a piece on that not that long ago. It came out to talk about the history of
Yep.
it. It's a historic piece.
It is, and it's really special. There's not a lot of theaters in the United States that have them left, certainly the originals. Now it'll give this an opportunity to really be seen when it's being played. Prior to this, you would hear the organ being played, but you didn't always see it. And we have an organist before every performance that we do for school children, the school time matinee series that we do. The organists are always here playing, and the kids get to sing along with things like bingo and take me out to the ball game and things like that. So that's really special. So yeah, this orchestra pit does a lot, is really a game changer for this organization.
So as we turn and look to the theater, it's certainly not what I expected right now to see this. The scaffolding here, but the work's done. I mean, when we were here last time, it was dirt on. There was dirt on the ground.
Right.
And now there's a floor.
There's a floor.
And they got the scaffolding up because they're working on this. And I want people to know, as you were talking about the painting, the front here is really what the finished product kind of looks like, or will look like.
That's right. So everything in the front of the house, including the proscenium, is complete with the historic paint colors now. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's
absolutely
stunning.
Beautiful. And we were saying upstairs, I can't imagine the meticulous work that they had to do to make it look. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, I think there's another maybe month, just less than that, worth of work here in the theater itself on the historic plaster and paint repair. They're starting to come down the walls now and do some finished work there, and then we'll start to bring in the infrastructure of the theater.
And that's why the scaffolding's here, because they're doing the paint, the renovation work.
Exactly. And this scaffolding, believe it or not, took about 3 weeks to put up. It'll take about 2 weeks to come down, and then we'll move on to the next phase of the theater.
Wow. That's all I can say is wow.
Yeah.
The difference from 6 months, from February till now, amazing. And I can see why you say like even 5 weeks is just crazy. You've got to be so pleased right now.
We are over the moon excited and can't wait to see what the finish line looks like.
I'm not even talking the ladies' room, by the way. I'm talking the whole thing.
The whole thing, yeah. The whole kit and caboodle. Yeah, it is, like I said, I think I've said it multiple times, beyond my wildest expectations.
So for folks that are watching right now, what does the next few months look like? Obviously the scaffolding comes down, but what are we looking at?
So in the project, scaffolding comes down, a lot of the finishes start to come into place, furniture will start to be moved in, equipment. I think one of the last stages in the theater is the seating. You'll start to see things like the new windows go in from the exterior. You'll see some signs of a marquee taking shape over the next couple months.
You were excited about the last time the marquee is a very big thing.
The marquee is a really important piece of the exterior facade, right? Other than that, how do you know what's happening in this building? So putting a theatrical marquee back on the front is something we're really excited about. So you'll start to see that take shape. And then as far as what we're doing in the organization is we are continuing to raise money to finish this project. We are thinking about and planning actively for our reopening to make sure that we are everything that we're promising to be, that we are a space that can be open more days of the week, more weeks of the year, and invite the community in and celebrate this multi-year process of bringing the Zeiterion back to life and creating a Zeiterion that can serve the next century of performing arts.
Well, I thank you for spending. It was longer than I wanted to spend with you, in that I know I'm taking time from you.
That's
and I
okay.
so appreciate this, because this was truly amazing. I mean, just better than the last time, because now you're seeing things, and
Yeah.
it is truly amazing, and I do appreciate your time.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine. We're grateful for you to come out and share this with everybody.
That's going to do it. Jim Marshall, the New Bedford Cable Network, Nicole Merusi from the Zeiterion Performing Arts Center. Thanks for watching, and we hope to do it one more time before opening night.